Good evening, boys and girls. Another evening back down the garage. An evening back on Little Blue Nova here, as it says. It even says it on the back. Look at that. So, lots to be getting cracking on with tonight. Number one is I've picked up some more stainless spool, albeit a very tiny spool because that's all they had, which is annoying. But picked up some more stainless spool, so I am going to get this fart cannon all welded out tonight and up on the car. Get that fully sorted so that the exhaust is on. We can then fire the car up for an extended period of time without making a ridiculous amount of noise. I've drawn a list. I'll show you the list later on, but I've drawn a list and it's not a very big one. Also, in the last video I did mention that show season is very closely upon us. Today it has dawned on me just how close it is. I'm down the garage. I'm not down the garage any earlier than I usually would be. Still daylight. It's not dark yet. That's how close show season is. So yeah, I better pull my finger out and get this done. That one is very nearly done anyway. Cool. Yeah, so that one's nearly done. This one is going to get done. So pull my finger out, crack on. Let's get the exhaust welded, get it bolted on, and we'll go from there. Okay, boys and girls, fully welded. It's not on the bench anymore, it's on the car. I've just gone ahead and cracked on and thrown it on the car. Now I still need to do, well, let's show you it. Well, best we can when we're laying under here. It's not the brightest, but there we go. So obviously the other day you would have seen where we got to on the turbo downpipe. You've got the flexi there, and then V-band. This is the section that we've welded today. And then it tucks up there into the back box, which sits really nicely in this space, and then pokes out the other side. What I do need to do is work out some sort of mounting position back here somewhere, although I mean it's not going anywhere as it is, but I just need to work out some sort of, like what we did up the front there, you see, with the bar and the rubber mount. Just need to work out something up the back here on that, and then if I roll out, I've got this light died on me, by the way. It started flickering, so I've had to get the old lights out. So apologies for the glare. So I've got the V-band wastegate and everything all hooked back up here, and then down the side of the car, down here, I have just shoved the tip in now. Wink, wink. I still need to shorten the inside of this a bit more, so that this goes further in tight to the car, and I was doing clearance control around here a little bit, and do the beauty plate and whatnot. But like I said, time is getting on a little bit, and I would really like to hear this run tonight and see just what my exhaust sounds like that we've created. So what I'm going to do is, I've got it all in, it's all bolted up, and I will do the mount and everything in a minute, but I'm actually going to run the car first, or attempt to run the car anyway. I've got the battery charger, I had the battery charger on it, to put a bit of battery in it. Disconnected this over there so I can spray a bit of cold start in, because we have got an issue with the ECU temperature sensor in there, and sort that out. Basically at the moment it doesn't know what temperature the car is, so therefore it doesn't engage cold start enrichment or anything like that. So let me just make sure I've not got any cables that are going to get caught in anything like that green one there. We've got no boost solenoid on there, it will just be on gate. we'll just we'll start it up and see what the old exhaust sounds like, shall we? So yeah, let me pop you, see if I can pop you in a decent position. Just pop you there like that. You can see the tip. Way. Right, let's take the battery charger off for now. Connect the ground. We'll see what happens. Once to start, it's going to need a little bit of throttle, isn't it? You're going to want a little bit of throttle to get it going. Still wants a little bit of throttle. Still needs a little bit of throttle to keep it going. Give us a little bit of throttle. Let's try again. Ooh. Those tappets are very noisy. Idle is very rich. 10.0. See that you've got that working. Got oil pressure. The alternator's not charging. Doesn't look like it's charging. I'll test that in a minute. And there we go. There is. That's very quiet, you know. I'm impressed at how quiet that is. I've got the garage door shut, so I can't run it too long. I'll fucking gas myself. Definitely needs more on the idle, but the screw is almost all the way out. The screw is almost all the way out. It's nice and quiet though, isn't it? Considering it's 3 inches, that's really quite quiet. Right, let me see if I can get a bit more on this idle. Right, I'm going to try and sort this idle out a little bit and then we'll try again, shall we? Right, have now got it running. Alternator is charging. It's idling at about 1000 RPM, so a bit high, but it's fat as anything. It's so rich. It's 10.0 on the scale there, so it's real fat. But we've got good oil pressure. I'll keep me on the coolant temp as it comes round. A little bit of a mixed fire there, you can hear it popping every now and then. It's a very noisy head. Very noisy head. Plenty of oil in now. And it just needs a heat cycle, to be honest. Doesn't appear to be blowing anywhere, which is always a good sign.
The very next evening.
Okay, new day, if you can't tell by the change of hoodie. So yeah, it was down here yesterday. We got the car up and running. Exhaust sounds pretty good. It was fairly late, so I couldn't give it the beans too much. Plan for tonight is basically to get the car back down on its wheels and into a position where I can drive it. Now, the two big things that are left to do underneath the car is finish the exhaust and underseal. Now, I'm probably going to put the undersealing off for a little while because it's not essential for MOT. And talking to Wes, I'll speak to Wes, I think it's probably better if we just push that back and then we can kind of strip the whole underside and re-underseal the whole of the underside all in one go, sort of at the end of the show season or something like that. I think that'll give us a better finish for the long term of the car. Anyway, so I'm going to scrap that off the list. I'm going to get the exhaust done, dusted, fully finished, the tip, all the bits and pieces on the side of the car, the beauty plates, the lot, get that all done and dusted. Adjust up the handbrake cable, because at the moment there's no handbrake cable's there, it's just loose. So adjust up the handbrake cable, and then nut and bolt check underneath, and then the car can go back down on its wheels. That'll allow me to give it a quick test drive up to the roundabout and back. It will also allow me to roll it out, wash the car, and give the garage a good deep clean, because it is getting very messy in here now. And I'd like to roll the car out before I start trying to tidy anything up. So without further ado, I'm going to get back under the car and I'm going to work on making a mount for the rear box to hang on. So yeah, let's crack on.
A few moments later.
Red video if I didn't have beer on the go, would it? Feeling this next bit on my camera, because the GoPro has got a flat battery apparently, so it's got 48%. It just keeps turning itself off, and stupidly I've left the other batteries at home, so iPhone it is. I'm sorry for the weird angles that we're going to get. I've been cracking on, to be perfectly honest with you, and got quite a lot done. Didn't film as much as I wanted to, because the GoPro was messing around, but also I just needed to get stuff done. So I'll quickly just show you underneath the car first, and then I'll show you the tip. Right. So, as I've shown you before, we have got downpipe down there, showing you all that. We've got bracket there, flexi there, V-band there. This is what we welded up earlier. V-band there, the MIG pie cuts, they look okay. They're no TIG masterpiece, but they're good. We've got a 90-degree there, and then I've welded on a bar that tucks up inside the old mount, and then that rubber there, I don't know where you can see it, it's quite dark, holds that on. So then the box sits nicely up out the way. It's fairly solid mount. It's got a little bit of flex in it, the sort of flex you want, but nothing too bad. Passes through here and comes out. Oh, that's my key, and then the change falling out of my pocket. I hate this fucking thing. Always losing it. Right, and then if I get back up, put that back up there. Remember it's there before I go home. And I will show you a wonderful, beautiful tip. So I've got it slightly angled up a little bit to try and keep the point out of the way of the car. I don't know what the MOT assessor is going to say about that, to be perfectly honest. This is a tip though, so I could take that off and put like a 3-inch outward rolled tip on there if I needed to. And then I've put a little aluminium beauty plate around it. Try and cut it as tight as I could do, where the tip's welded and bits there. So it's solid. So yeah, little beauty plate around it, and then basically what happens is the exhaust obviously fits underneath the car and slides through, and then the tip slides on from the outside, and there's a little bolt there that just slides, a little slip collar made up, and it just bolts over the top there like that. So nice and easy to get on and off. So yeah, nice little exhaust tip there. Time is getting on. It is now 10 o'clock at night, so I'm not going to start the car up as much as I would like to. What I'm going to do instead is adjust the handbrake cable up. I'm not going to film that because it's not very interesting. What I'll do is see you in a couple of minutes when I've adjusted the handbrake cable up, and we can get the car down on the ground and have a look at what it looks like once it's all sorted. I'm also going to swap the front wheels over with the back wheels, because that one I think has got a big buckle in it, or at least I'm hoping it's a buckle in the wheel and not something bent on the front. So right, crack on. Righto then, GoPro went even charged now, so that's completely knackered. Don't know what's going on with that. I wasn't going to film any handbrake stuff because I thought, I'll slide under the car, adjust the handbrake cable up, mint. No, apparently not. So this is the little adjuster bar that goes in the middle. What this had was, like, the internals of this were missing, and then it just had these two copper nuts back to back wound on and wedged in, and it just wasn't going to work. So I've stripped it all out. What I've done is I've got a bit of round stock, I've drilled a hole through the middle, I've tapped some threads in there, very fine threads. So this will now slide on and adjust up like it should do, and then once it's adjusted up, you get your little M8 nut here, and that will go on as a locking nut to sit up against the back of the bar there. And that should, in theory, be that all sorted. So I'm going to throw it back on the car and see where we get to. Okay, right, just in case what I was just saying on the bench didn't make sense, I thought I'd show you, seeing as I'm down here anyway. So this is the adjuster here, like I said, and you can see where I've put the bolt and the thread in there. Let me just move that bush so you can see. Obviously there's our bit of round stock with the threads in it, and then I've got a spacer and then a backing nut on there. and then that just allows this to spin all the way up to where it should be. I've actually adjusted it to its maximum. It won't go any tighter than that, and it's only just tight enough. So I don't know if these are old pads in there, old shoes in the drums or not. But yeah, that's fully adjusted all the way up. But it does bind quite nicely now. So back here, I'm just going to do a quick nut and bolt check on the rear stuff, because I've not touched any of the rear stuff. This was all on the car when it came to me. So I'm just going to nut and bolt check everything, make sure it's all tight, which I'm sure it probably is. Handbrake is now done. Fuel pump assembly and everything is all done. Underneath here it's all tight. I'm going to just quickly give all these ANs a quick check. Exhaust is done. We've just checked all of that, obviously. Brake lines are done. I do need to cut down the cage bolts, because the ones that are in there are very, very long at the moment. Up to the front. There's one more little bracket that needs to go on there, which I'll get put in. That just needs to bolt up there to hold those fuel lines up nice and neat out the way. And then nut and bolt check the front end, change the wheels over, check the tracking, and it can go back down on its wheels. And once it's on its wheels, there is nothing stopping us. Well, obviously not tonight, because it's about fucking midnight at the moment. But there is nothing stopping us when we come down here, which I'm actually coming down here on the weekend, Friday, because it's bank holiday. Giving it a quick spin up and down the roundabout, and seeing what sort of noise it makes, how it goes, what sort of rattles we've got, any bits and pieces. And yeah, we are very close now. Very, very, very close. And I've been saying that for, well, I was about to say weeks, for a couple of months now. Taking a bit longer than expected. It's little things, to be perfectly honest with you. It's little things like that handbrake cable. That should have been a 10-minute job. That's taken me an hour and a half to get that sorted. So it's little things like that have dragged out a bit. But in there, and I will quickly go over to the list in just a second, and we'll tick some things off. Back on the ground, back on all four. I've forgotten how low this actually is, to be perfectly honest. I'll take a step back. Bearing in mind it's still sitting on 2-inch blocks. It's that low that I have to put on 2-inch blocks, otherwise the jack doesn't fit under the seals. Like, the front bumper comes down an awful long way. I mean, it is low. It is dirty, nasty low. If I stand next to it, it's literally like, that's my waist there, and I'm not blessed with height. So yeah, now you can understand why, if I lay down, why I made such an effort to get the exhaust tucked right the way up. It does sit a little bit low at the back there, but there's literally nothing I can do about that because of how tight it is on the chassis anyway. So, and then obviously you can see why we wanted to get the box tucked right up the back. To be fair, it does need a little bit of air in the tyres, which will probably give it an extra ½ inch of height or so, but it's back down on the ground, needs air in the tyres, and we'll probably take it for a little spin just up the roundabout back this Friday. But that is it, the exhaust is done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this video off by crossing off some stuff on our list, and you'll see just how close we are. If I can find my pen, there's a pen, that'll do. You'll see just how close we are. It is literally just little bits and pieces that need sorting now. So this is what we've got left to do. We've got headlights, bumper fixing, rear lights, bonnet catch, question mark, because I don't know what we're doing with the bonnet catch. Alternator wiring is done, that now works. Exhaust is done, that now works. Bolt the wipers on, which is literally just bolt them on. Boost reference and seal, boost reference and solenoid, that needs to be done. Again, just plugging some things in. Under seal, I'm going to cross that off, because like I say, we're not going to do that now. We'll do that later in the day. Wash it, obviously, because it is filthy. We need to do the tracking. I've checked the tracking roughly, and it's not too bad. So what I'll do is I'll just ask the MOT centre to put the gauges on it when we get there. Need to wash, clean. Put it on there twice. The fans, Wes is ordering the fans. ECU mount just needs some screws in it, and I need to fix the dodgy connection on the relay. So as you can see, they are just tiny little bits and pieces that need doing. There is nothing there that is a big job anymore. That exhaust, getting it fitted and everything, was the last big job on the list of things to do. So I'm quite happy bank holiday's coming up, so I'm going to get a full day down here, just ticking these last little bits and pieces off. I've got 4 or 5 bits in the post for the Fiesta, just to get that through its MOT this year. I need to just put some extra dash warning lights in, because obviously we went to the new dash and the tablet dash, so the indicator warning lights and bits and pieces got removed. So I just need to order some of those so I can get those wired in, and then that's off for its MOT, and then we should have little blue Nova and little red Fiesta bang and ready. The Fiesta's first meet of the year is Holmes Hill Autos weekend. We're going on the Sunday to that. I think that's the 30th of May. And then we've got the Nova and the Fiesta should be going to BHP at Detlin. So yeah, 2 shows fast approaching, less than 30 days. Less than 30 days, but we are getting there.
The next morning.